Okay, let's go step by step. That day we were a little fast, but today we'll just cover everything. Now, when we're talking about FI and CO, what are we going to cover? This is the scope. Initially, this will be the scope where we have GL level data. At CO level, of course, we have much more molecular details where department-wise costing and expenses can be seen. For that, we create organizational units in SAP. In SAP, of course, before we enter and access the GL account level data, we need some configuration to be done, and that is what is needed, and that is what this lecture is about. This presentation is about. So first, we create a company code, okay? And in company code, what is a company code? It is an organizational unit that can produce and create its own financial statements and publish it for its shareholders or for its management. Okay. So what did we do in the last lecture? I'm just going over that. That will be our revision. Okay. So SE10, this is a transaction where we can go over all of the configuration steps. Okay. And our company code was OAP 9. Okay. Now, how do we check that? This is what we have actually already done in SAP, and this is the configuration portal where we can see all of the configuration list. So we'll head down to the back end, which is SPRO. SPRO is your access to the backend portal. SAP Reference Implementation Guide, IMG. And from here, we will access our configuration data. And what are we configuring as per our presentation? Company code. Over here, it says to copy the company code data, but we will create it from scratch. For that, we'll go for enterprise structure, definition, financial accounting, define company, edit, copy, delete, check company code data. Okay, edit company code data. Now, a company code, of course, it's a company. It's your client that is operating in a certain geography. And if I have to see what we created, OAP9. OAP9 is the code in SAP for this company called Oriental Atlantic. Okay, if I double click this, so these are the details that this company is based out of Dubai in country AE, and its local currency will be AED. Now, company code can have its own currency. What other areas can have its own currency are controlling area, profit center currency, uh, group currency. Okay, that we'll see ahead. Okay. So how do we create another company? We'll go for new entries. From here, we can create our own company, but there is another way to create a company, and I'll show you that. And that is much more practical, but uh, it's not suggested if you are actually attempting to configure a company from the scratch. If you are configuring from the scratch, then you'll have to configure as shown in the previous step. So copy organizational object from company code OAP9, and let's say we have another company OAP0. Okay, we'll have two companies. Continue. From here, it says controlling area is assigned to company OAP9. Do you want to copy the assignment? Yes. I'll say yes. The reference company code has a local currency AD. Do you want to allocate a different local currency? Yes. And I'll say SAR, or it can be any currency. Customizing settings inconsistent, doesn't matter. Continue. We'll just set the customizing in other steps. So now it is it's copying certain tables and certain data in the tables. We'll go ahead to the next part. Copy FSV. Now, what is FSV? FSV is field status variant. Now it's asking for number ranges. Now, number ranges are important when we are creating documents at the front end. We'll see what are number ranges, but that will be in later lectures. And those are important part basically. So it's going to copy all the number ranges for all the modules like finance, MM, SD, CO, PP, everything, because it is copying the entire company code. So it will actually set up a separate new company using the data from the previous company, which is OAP9, which is our own company, but it will use that data to create a new unit. Then this is field status variant. We've already seen that. What is that? This will make sense when we start creating journal entries. Okay. Then we have posting period variant. Now, posting period variant, this is basically the authorization to post in various months in the fiscal year, or in all of the months in the fiscal year. Okay. Then we have chart of accounts. As we've already copied the company code, chart of accounts also get copied, and the assignment of chart of accounts. Now, this chart of accounts is assigned at multiple places, one at company code level and one at controlling area level. What is controlling area? What is the hierarchy? We'll see that ahead. Account groups. Now, account groups is basically the collection of all the GL accounts, basically segmentation of all GL accounts. And we can go up to 5 levels, molecular levels, because these are the top most broader terms for the chart of accounts. We can break these down until the 5 levels. Okay, like liabilities will have current liabilities, long-term liabilities. Long-term liabilities will have deferred liabilities, reserves, provisions, unpaid dividends. Okay, and in assets, we'll have long-term assets, current assets, and in long-term assets, we'll have much more divisions. Similarly, for income as well, we can have maximum 5 levels, but it's better to actually explore it till 4 or 5 levels. But if it goes beyond 5 levels, then you will have to trim it down, and the client will depend on your advice as a consultant. So you will advise what to trim and what to include in the chart of accounts list, because under liabilities, of course, you'll have to see and check what can be covered in liabilities, what is important, what is not so important. Okay, on request, let me just add this too. Okay, now, since this is done, next is field status variant, posting period variant, chart of accounts, account groups. Okay, it is still copying, so let it copy. It will take some time to just go ahead. Then comes the ledger part. Now, ledger, basically, these are some settings for currencies, various currencies, for reporting in various currencies under various valuations. Now, there are 3 different broader terms for valuation. We have legal valuation, we have group valuation, and we have profit center valuation. So in valuation, now what is basically valuation? First, it differentiates between different currencies. Company code will have its own currency. Group level, there will be a different currency. Now, why do we need different currencies? Because company codes are operational units. Operations as in all the operations like sales operation, production operation, financial operations happen at company code level. That is where all the manual entries and transactions are happening. Okay, now this is copied. Next part is pretty simple. Global settings, ledgers, fields, field status variants. Now, these variants will be copied to your new company code, which is OAP 0. Okay, moving ahead. Now, ledgers. For ledgers, we need currencies for different reporting. Our company code can be located in a different geography, and the group mother company can be in a different geography. For that, we need a universal reporting currency. So at group level, there can be a different currency, and we'll use different currencies. Okay. FSV. I'll go to OAP9. OAP9, and this will be copied to our new company. Okay, by default, if you're creating your own field status, you'll use 0001 and copy as, because this is provided by SAP itself. Many tables are populated in field status. What is field status? We'll understand that later. Assign company code to field status variants. Position OAP0. OAP0, OAP9 has the same field status variant because we copied it, so it has copied and has saved us time. Next is fiscal year and posting periods. Now, in posting periods, of course, we'll assign a fiscal year variant first, and then we'll go for posting periods. OAP0, it's already done. This is the advantage of copying one company code. It copies all of the data. Okay, posting periods, assign variants to company code, and this must be done as well because we have already copied chart accounts. OAP0. OAP0 has the variant, posting period variant as ZAP9, but you will actually make your own posting period variant, or you can use the default 0001 or DE01. Okay. And opening and closing posting periods are ZAP9. Now, what months are allowed for posting general entries and transactions? These are the submodules: A for assets, D for customers, K for vendors, M for material, S for GL. Plus means covers all of the modules, and all of the months are open for general entries, and all the transactions, even for material, sales, production, HR, every module can post through these months. Okay, that was posting period variant. Now, next is FinSC Ledger. Okay, I can go directly through writing, through typing the transaction code here, but I will go from here, which is under financial accounting. Ledgers. Ledger defines settings for ledgers and currency types. I hope this is clear because there was some confusion because I was a little fast in the last class. Okay. Then after we set up the currency, next is now this is the hierarchy. This is where it actually explains how the hierarchies work in SAP, how organizational units basically are set up. Company codes report to controlling area, and controlling area are basically reporting to operating concern. Now, operating concern is the mother company, and this is the reporting part. That's it. It has not much more than that. So operating concern is not for any manual entries, but it's only for reporting and dashboards for the management. Leading ledger is the main leading ledger which gets all the transactions from all the modules. So I'll go to company code settings. Position, OAP9, OAP9, and we have different currencies basically assigned over here. What are those? We'll see that. 30 and 10. What are these? We'll see that as well. Double click Orient OAP9. Okay, over here we have accounting principles gap, functional currencies, company code currency, and at group level we have USD. At company code we have dirhams. At the other level, we have group currency and group valuation for valuation purposes, which is USD. And at uh, fourth level, we have company code currency and group valuation. Okay, we can have 4 different currencies, but at ledger level, we can have 8 different currencies. Okay, now I hope this is clear. OAP0. OAP0 has the same settings because we copied OAP0 from OAP9. So this is easy for. Now, what is currency conversion settings? Let's see that also. Company code OAP9. At OAP9 level, we have 1131 that we just explained at company code level. Here we define what currencies it can have reporting in and what will be the source. It will be document currency. What is a document? Financial document, stock document, production order. These are documents. At what rate? At standard translation at average rate. Posting date will be the translation date. So we have 3 kinds of translation dates: document, posting, and translation date. Okay. So this can be asked in interviews, and this submodule, which is the ledger part, is always asked in the interviews. Page up. OAP0 has already copied it from OAP. Okay, so we'll go back and we'll go back to the next part. Over here, controlling area controls company codes, multiple company codes, but to connect controlling area and company codes, we need two conditions to be met, and that our chart of accounts should be the same and the fiscal year variant should be the same. Okay, only then we can assign controlling area and company codes. Okay, next is of course controlling area settings. What is the purpose of these 8 different currencies? For reporting, basically. When it comes to multinational companies, there is a need for multiple currencies, multiple valuations, multiple levels of reporting for various stakeholders, right? That is the reason. Okay, next part is after this. Next part is controlling area settings. We'll just see that. Okay. Okay, currency settings, we've already seen this. And we've already seen this as well. We'll just see the controlling area settings, which is quite easy and self-explanatory. And then we have version controls. Yes, version is very important. Next part is controlling, general controlling, organization, maintain controlling area, maintain controlling area. Okay, position, OAP9. OAP9 is our controlling area. Double click. And we have group currency 30, exchange rate M, Chart of accounts OAP9, fiscal year variant, and chart of accounts. As I said, this is important for controlling area and company code to align. Otherwise, company codes cannot get attached to controlling area. Cost and hierarchy will be OAP9. Activate components. Okay, assignment of company codes, it will have multiple OAP0 and OP because we copied it and we also said that to copy the controlling area. So save it, save. Okay, so this is the same that you will do. Next is version control. I'll explain what this is all about. And then we have number ranges for controlling documents. That is also part of our configuration. Okay, we'll cover this and mapping documents. Okay. So next is next is ranges. Okay. Now versions. What are versions basically? Just let me OAP9. OAP9 version 0. Zero ledger, I've already explained this is the leading ledger and we have assigned it to the 0L ledger. Now, what is a version? We'll just see that. Okay. Maintain versions. Now, versions. Now, versions basically, we have different versions. Plan actual version, which will capture all the plan values, actual values, and work in process values, variances at the end of a month of a production period, and it will calculate work in process through production orders, and it will also plan the costing, and the actual values will be captured also. But we can have different versions for group valuation, profit center valuation. Okay, we can have different versions with different currencies for group valuation and profit center valuations as well, and we can change the approach for these versions, whether it can capture plan values or not, but we don't need it because at valuation level, you don't plan your costing values or your budget or your forecast. You only capture actual values and compare it with the original version, which is the plan actual version, because you've already captured the plan values. Controlling area settings, I'll just select this one first. Plan actual version, 0. This is legal valuation. We have three kinds of valuations: legal, group, and profit center valuation. Settings for each fiscal year. 2024 and double click. We have version locked exchange rate type for cost planning P. Okay. And I'll go back, activate this one, double click. Oh, this is LAP9. It should be OAP9. Sorry, my mistake. LP01. Okay, this is finished. Now, SPRO. Next step is OKKS to set the controlling area OAP9. And then we go ahead and access the controlling, general controlling, organization, maintain controlling area, maintain controlling area. It's already done. I mean, this is done. Sorry. This is done. This is done. We don't need this right now. Okay, maintain versions. We've already done this as well. Number ranges for controlling documents. OAP9. Change groups. Over here, we will look for coin. Now, these are controlling costing postings from FI. Directly, the manual entries from FI will travel to CO because in CO, you cannot enter actual postings. It's only the plan values that you can enter in CO. Okay. Then we have cost repost transaction. Now, these are transactions that will happen in CO area, in costing and controlling area. Okay. This we have assigned number ranges. Now, what are the number ranges? Whenever these postings will happen, system will generate CO documents with these number ranges. Okay. If there is a repost of what is repost of cost from cost center, the values will flow without any manual entries, and it will generate another document. Then it will repost CO line items. Now, what is reposting line items? Now, some of the postings from FI will land in one cost center. From there, it will have to be reposted to other cost centers. And this is the transaction that will take care of that. Okay. Now, next is financial accounting. Next part, global settings, ledgers, integration, document types for mapping. Now, mapping 0, 1. What is this basically? Now, this is set up where we have to integrate. The first step to integrate between finance and costing module or controlling area. Let's say it costing module would call be the controlling area in SAP. I'll select this, and all the business transactions that will happen in CO will be governed by this variant. All of these transactions will be governed by this mapping variant, and this mapping variant is assigned to controlling. Okay. OAP 9. 0L is a ledger group where all the entries will be reflected, and this is the mapping variant. As simple as that. Okay. Define ledger, postings, define ledger for we have already done this. I guess this is it for today. Okay. So next is oranges. Okay. Now versions. What are versions basically? Just let me OAP 9. OAP 9, version 0. 0L ledger, I've already explained this is the leading ledger, and we have assigned it to the 0L ledger. Now, what is a version? We'll just see that. Okay. Maintain versions. Now, versions. Now, versions basically, we have different versions. Plan actual version, which will capture all the plan values, actual values, and work in process values, variances at the end of a month of a production period, and it will calculate work in process through production orders, and it will also plan the costing, and the actual values will be captured also. But we can have different versions for group valuation, profit center valuation. Okay, we can have different versions with different currencies for group valuation and profit center valuations as